Recorded.
Yep, this meeting is being recorded. Click OK.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're ready to get started now. Hi,
All
my
right.
name is Roy Canterbury. I'm going to be your host today on Archery Talk 101. And this is podcast number 243 if you want to look it up. Uh, but we're going to have a lot of fun talking with Shawn about some of his exciting adventures in archery. And let's get it started. Shawn, how about if you introduce yourself and tell us a little something about you?
Well, my name is Shawn Jenks. I'm the owner of Jinxem Sense. Started the business in 2015. I have done a whole bunch of different stuff in my life. I was a prison guard for the state of Michigan for 17 years, and I left that and went out west and was a big game hunting guide for 5 years out there. And then I moved back here to Iowa, and I've been just chasing whitetail and doing the business, and that's kind of the quick about what I've had going on, and that's it. The business has been going very well, and each year we've been growing tremendously, and yeah, it's doing very good.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
A lot of work, a
What,
lot of fun.
what's the website for your business?
The website is jinxemsense.com. So yep, www.jinxemsense.com. JINXEMSSENTS.com.
Okay, Jenxe.
Oh,
Oh,
JINX.
Jin.
Yep,
Yeah.
JINXEM
Okay.
Sense. SCENTS.com.
Okay. We'll get that up and we'll just start off. We'll just promote your business.
Right,
Um,
right. Perfect.
yeah, let's talk about the stuff like that. And I always like to find places, talk to owners and stuff of all these different places and get a little thing on their products and close that. Okay, let me see if we can find my share. There we go. It should be looking at your website now.
Yep, there it is.
Okay. So when did you start this
We,
business?
we started in 2015. I kind of did the big announcement. I believe it was in like April of 2015. And that was it. We've been going. We celebrating our 10th year this year. So April actually was the 10-year anniversary of the announcement. But coming up like right now, we're at 10 years where we started doing we got the product out and got the website up and rolling, and yeah, we're 10 years in, and like I said, we started out with just pretty much 100% deer urine is pretty much what we were doing, and then over the years here we've added a bunch. We've added food plot seed and mineral and deer feed, and then of course we added to our scent line was preorbital gland scent and some other different products there with scent. And then we also got into, we have a seasoning. If you click on the side menu over there, we've got or actually at the top, I guess it says pantry. Come all the way over to your right there, it says pantry.
Oh, pantry. Okay,
And
here we go.
we have coffees and barbecue sauces, bacon kits, brine kits, jerky kits, rubs, sausage kits, seasonings, and then yeah, and then we just introduced our coffee line here. That was new for this year. So we pretty much what basically we're kind of trying to be that one-stop shop where we can go from putting out the feed and the mineral for them in the wintertime and the spring, and then planting those food plots and getting them all good and healthy and fattened up for the season. Then we sell all the lures and urine sets. We do synthetics and 100% pure. And then we also have all the seasonings and that so that you can do all kinds of stuff with them there at the end of the season for enjoying your harvest through lots of different meals.
So now these snack stick kits, is that just the seasonings for them or what all is included in one of those kits?
That the hickory smoke jerky, that is the whole seasoning kit that you will need. You'll there's the packets in there that you will put into a bowl with your venison, or you can use beef too if you would like. And of course, you got to soak it for, I'm not sure how many. I guess I'd have to look at it to remember how long you're soaking it. But then that's it. Then you'll pull it out and put that on the smoker. And yep, do your own jerky. And like I said, then the snack, we got that's also, we use that in like our, the deer sticks, the snack sticks, I guess we call them. And so, yeah, it'll literally do your jerky, and it'll do your snack sticks as well. So, yep, there's on the back, kind of tells you the whole directions on how to go about it. What I think each package does like 10 pounds. And yep, so you can take 10 pounds of your venison and soak it like about 24 hours or so, and that's it. Throw it on the smoker and you're good to go. Make your own jerky. Yeah, there you go. Mix 1 packet of seasoning and 1 pack of cure with 5 pounds of meat and 8 ounces of water. Smoke or dehydrate until desired tenderness. Can be used for ground or muscle jerky and snack sticks.
Very much good flavors then. And I
That,
know what long time
yep,
ago I used Claude's brisket marinade,
yeah,
and that's some good stuff. And
yep. Yep, our
and
hickory smoke is very good too. It's kind of, I guess, what a lot of people would kind of think of when you come along, like more of your original, kind of like when you go to the store and buy your Jack Link's original. That it's kind of similar to that. That flavor is there, and yep. And we've got, like I said, we've got a few different flavors that you can do. Like I said, we've got so many, it's kind of hard to remember everything
oh
that
yeah,
exactly all that we have. Yep, the bacon kit right there, Grandma's Country Bacon, so you can turn your venison into bacon, and that's pretty good stuff there too.
yeah, it's a lot of good options here. The brine.
Yep, yep, yep. There's the home cured ham, Grandma's Country Brine Kit. So yeah, we've got pretty much a little bit of everything, and pretty
Yeah,
much about every flavor of seasoning and rub that you would want. And yep, there's our rubs right there. Pitmaster Smoke Show. That's for the smoking guys right there. That's for your you would take a rump roast or whatever, and you're putting that on the smoker and coating it with that Pitmaster. That is very good for, it's kind of got that smoky barbecue flavor to it. Um, and then you move over there to that Feathered Feast. That is my favorite. That's kind of a garlicky, buttery yumminess, I guess, for a better lack of a better word. Then when you got our Hunter's Reserve, and then Wildfire, which is a sweet, bold, spicy rub, and then Fiesta Frenzy, that's a southwestern rub, and then our Fish On is for your fish and your seafood. And then we offer all day. You can buy the whole pack. We've got 12. We have 6 rubs and we have 6 seasonings. So you can buy all 12 of them. Right there, you see, shows that we're out of stock. Oh, and that reason that it shows out of stock because we've got one. It is our Pitmaster Smoke Show is on back order. So we're waiting for that to restock back up. But the other 11 are available. We just don't have that 12 pack available yet because we're short the Pitmaster Smoke Show, which has been on back order now. God, I think we're pushing a month now that we've been on back order with that. So
huh.
just having a little bit of trouble getting that one in.
Now, how did you come up with the flavorings and the combination for the different seasonings?
We have a friend who is a culinary chef, and he went ahead and we told him what we wanted, and he put together some different seasonings and rubs for us and kind of sent us out samples, and you guys go ahead and taste those and cook with those and see what you like, what you don't like, and we'll get you all set up. So yep, we have a good friend of ours who is a culinary chef.
Well, that's pretty good. They've got some decent ideas on stuff that you wouldn't think would go together, but yet it does.
Oh yes, yep. Yep, and there's the sausage, the log cabin maple. That's probably my favorite. We done a bunch up this last year of sausage, literally just little smoky links that we used that with, and it's absolutely delicious. that deer camp breakfast sausage. That's more of just your standard, just a standard sausage. And then of course, then over you got the Inferno Italian, which has got that's got a little bit of a bite to it. But if guys who really like hot, we don't have that. We've got it, it says Inferno Italian and it does have a nice bite to it. But your guys who really like that really hot stuff, they would probably eat that and go, that's not hot. That's not hot a bit. I'm not a big fan of the really hot stuff. I like to enjoy the food, and get that flavor without having to take a drink of ice water after every bite.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah.
then
It's
here's our three barbecue sauces. Sweet Stalker, that would be probably comparable to like Baby Ray's sauce. Very good. Actually, we have a lot of people that are like, man, your guys' stuff is better than the Baby Ray's. I definitely will be buying more of that. We've sold lots of that. Um, the Sweet Inferno, that is a hot jalapeno barbecue sauce, hot and sweet. But again, it's not like overpowering hot. It just has that nice little bite to it, but nothing that's gonna have your tongue hanging out and breaking a sweat or anything like that. And then our Trailblazing Tang is our Carolina mustard. That's kind of like what would you call it? Kind of like a honey mustard or yeah, that would probably be the best way to describe that. That's kind of got that barbecuey with a little bit of mustard kind of in the back, kind of like what you would get at McDonald's, I guess, when you tell them you want the honey mustard sauce. That's kind of what it reminds you of, I guess, would be the best way to probably describe that. So they're all very good. We do very good with those sauces. They're everybody's really liking all of them pretty much. I'm not a hot guy. The wife's not a hot girl. She don't like that real hard, spicy stuff. So, yep. And here's our coffee line. So, Monster Mocha, that's got kind of I don't want to say chocolatey, but it's just a real rich, just a good blend, a mocha, I guess you could say. So, our Whitetail Wake Up, the 100% Colombian Supreme, that's just a good rich coffee for those who like a strong coffee, which I do. I do like that. That Whitetail Wake Up is real good. I'm actually, honestly, that full rut right there. I'm an espresso guy. So I don't drink espresso, but I do like the espresso flavor. I like that very rich, nice flavor. At least for those first few cups in the morning, I like that nice rich coffee. The next one over, Just Killing Time. That is a signature series. We sponsor the TV show on Pursuit Channel called Just Killing Time TV with Buck and Max. So that was one that we film hunts and everything for them too. So we have hunts that air on the show with them. We're pretty much part of the team. So we had talked with Buck and Max about coming out with a line of coffee, and that's what we come up with there, and we named it Just Killing Time. And that's 100% Colombian Supreme. That's more of a medium blend. The Whitetail Wake Up is more of that's a dark blend. So
okay.
that is the difference. They both say 100% Colombian Supremo, but the Just Killing Time is a medium blend, and that Whitetail Wake Up is a dark blend. And then we come into our Buck Rub, which is a French roast. I actually do like all of our flavors, to be honest with you. And then we come into our decafs. That's literally the full rut, but it's decaf, so it's the espresso, so it gives you that nice, good, rich flavor without the kick. And then the buckshot is our breakfast blend. So in that's is that breakfast blend? That's not a decaf, is it, babe? No, the decaf. That's just that's a full decaf. That is caffeinated buckshot. That's our breakfast blend. And then our bedding grounds is our platinum blonde decaf. I do like to drink that in the evening because I do like my coffee. I will drink coffee all day long, but I do switch over to the decaf in the evening so that I can make sure that I can go to sleep that night. So that platinum blonde is a very good coffee.
You don't want that caffeine at night. It makes it kind of hard to go to sleep.
Yeah, that's it. I lay in bed going, man, I should have drank that last cup of coffee at 8 o'clock. But that decaf there, that blonde there, that's pretty good. And I can have a cup of that right at bedtime, honestly, and still go to sleep with no problem.
Yeah, that's um, quite a list of just coffees in here, and then all the other pantry stuff in here. And
Yep.
you started off with starting with scents, didn't you?
We started off, yep, literally Jinxem Sense started off as just a 100% deer urine company. We sold dominant buck, doe estrus, and that was pretty much about it. Just those two, and then we had we had a few other little items, here and there, but nothing like what we've got now. So our misfortune there, that is because our last name is Jenks, Jenks. So we kind of a play on the word and change it to Jinx, and Jinxem we thought would be a pretty good name. So we kind of try to stick with our names that are kind of that bad omen, bad luck, jinx, that whole kind of theme.
Yeah.
So our buck we named it Misfortune. And then our original Doe and Heat was our Bewitched there, which is the third one over the purple bottle. So those were our two flagship products when we first launched the business. And then we come out with the Ecstasy. And that is, I guess what a lot of them would call your standing heat. That one has, so the Bewitched is doe urine that is collected from that doe when she is full blown estrus, but it's just the urine. The Ecstasy is the base is the same with 100% urine collected from a doe when she's in heat, but then we also have infused vaginal, anal, tarsal, and interdigital gland into that Ecstasy, which just kind of supercharges everything. And let me tell you what, it actually did the trick. So that Ecstasy is stuff that we recommend that hunters use right there in when the doe are getting bred, like right in the heat of the rut. And then that Bewitched is kind of, I'll use that a couple weeks before we hit peak, and that seems to work pretty good too. And then we come out here just a few years ago with our Misfortune Scent Dabs. That'd be the fourth over the little canister. Yep, we come up with that. Those are the water beads, the Orbeez, that are soaked in our dominant buck urine, and those are designed for guys who have. We kind of hit hard on mock scrapes, and that is a product right there that you can put in that mock scrape, and that's more for guys who can't get into their hunting grounds maybe, but every 10 days or maybe even up to 12 days or so. Those are more of a time release. They hold the scent longer. The scent stays there longer. And like I said, that's for guys that they got a little bit of travel time and it's not right out their back door. And I can't make it over to my hunting grounds, but every weekend or every, 10 days, 2 weeks. So we recommend that they use those the scent dabs to help kind of keep that scrape a little more scented up for a little bit longer than just putting liquid into it.
Now, are these spray bottles or are they?
They're flip top drip bottles.
Okay.
Yep, they're flip top drip bottles, and so the dabs are literally the same thing that you're looking at: the dominant buck Misfortune, the doe estrus Bewitched, and the supercharged Ecstasy. You see, we offer all of those in the dab form as well too. So, yep, and you can see there's some pictures down there of some of the deer that have been harvested using that. And yep, some of these guys go crazy. They like it all. They like the the urine, the dabs, the preorbital gland scent. They're pretty much they'll go and load it up with everything. So yep, that was Buck right there from Just Killing Time TV. Yep,
This
that
one
one
right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, nope, that one. Yep, that one right there. That's Buck from Just Killing Time TV. And they've been with us now. This is our 5th year that we've been with them. We actually did 5 cooking segments this season with them on the show. So we've had 3 of those have aired already this year. We got 2 more to go with them. We're actually going to be in the 12th and 13th week of of their season, which are the last 2 weeks of the quarter. So we got 2 more cooking segments using our Jinxem Harvest blends, all of our seasonings and rubs and that. So, yep. So, yep,
But
you
you
can see
got
they're
that. You
using
got the
those.
beans in in
Yep,
the liquid as well.
yep,
Was that her buck she got?
that is, that is. Yep, and that's what we ask. We ask all of our customers and staff even. Yep, you if you're successful, we would love a picture of you with our products in that picture. And she's got everything. She's wearing the Jinxem camo hat, and she's got the our misfortune dabs and our supercharged doe estrus ecstasy all in that one picture. So those are what we like to see.
Yeah, it's always nice to get, people that use the product and then, they can see how it works. And, that's what I like doing on the podcast is, talking to some of you guys that make these products and get some information about them. Because, you know, I wouldn't know anything about it until I
Yep,
talk to you about it. And that's what's nice about this is we can, get the information out there to anybody that's interested. And
yep.
sounds
And
like
then
this is
you
gonna be pretty good products.
yes, we've done very, very well. Our, and I'm kind of I guess I'll be politically correct or whatever, but I'm anal when it comes to my hunting. I'm a pretty much I am a trophy hunter. Some people don't like that. Some people do. It's just what I do. I was big game hunting guide and killed, I don't even know, and lots and lots and lots of animals I have either killed or been involved with killing. And so I'm just very anal about my hunting. And I decided here back in 94 that I was going to kind of challenge myself to pit myself against those bigger bucks. And that was what I was going to do. And like I said, every one of these products that we have on our website, we use. I actually use them pretty religiously. Um, so yeah, like I said, I'm just if it don't work, I'm that guy. If it doesn't work, I'm going to tell you it don't work, and I'm not
Yeah.
using it. And I'm definitely not going to kick it out as a product to any of our customers. When we do a little, we tried new stuff and we tried testing and pass out some of our stuff to some of our staff and like, hey, go test this and let me know what you think. And of course, we get sometimes like, dude, I don't know what's in that, but you need to throw that in the garbage because those deer do not like that. And so we've been through that whole trial and error with different stuff that we came up with. And yeah, so like I said, I'm just if it doesn't work, I'm not using it. I'm not recommending it to anybody to use. And that's just how I am. So yep. Then
Well,
we
and
got
that's should how it should be.
yep, yep, yep.
Don't
And
sell
that's
something that don't work.
yeah, like I said, and you see it in the industry, and it's unfortunate, but some of these people promote some stuff they know doesn't work, but so and so is writing them a check for $50,000. So it's like, oh yeah, I'll tell everybody it's great, but they don't never use it because they know it's not, but they take the money and out there. That's probably why I've never had my own TV show and done all that because I won't do that. If you can hand me $1 million and if it's garbage, I'm going to tell you to keep your $1 million. I'm not using your stuff because that's my name that goes on that product. And
Right.
I don't want anybody coming back saying, Shawn, you recommended this and you said it was wonderful. And it literally, I've tried it 3 or 4 different times, and every single time it scared my deer away. And what's going on. So I will not put my name on anything that's if it don't work. It's just in fact I'm the opposite. I'm the guy that's going to stand up there and wave my hand and say, hey everybody, no, don't use that, don't waste your money. That stuff's garbage. And you've seen that. And a lot of these guys, they don't care. They'll go out and they'll try to sell 1 million of them, and they get 1 million sold before the general public figures out that, oh, this stuff don't work. Well, they've already made their money by now, so no big deal to them. But yeah, we just won't do that. We're more worried about the success of our clients than we are worried about putting a dollar in our pocket. We want our people to be successful, and that's what it's all about with us. It's not about getting rich off from this. Definitely are not rich. And we're your average middle class Americans, and of course we make a little money doing it, but honestly, we pay the bills, and there's not all that Yeah, there ain't no big millions of dollars rolling in here and now and that. And like I said, and that's not really what we're after. We're just after providing good products to people that's going to work, that's going to help them be successful. And we get a bigger kick out of that when we get a client or even a staff member that'll send us a picture of a buck they've been chasing for a couple of years and they decided to use our product and they close a deal on him. That stuff like that, that's what gets me excited, and the wife too. We're both pretty much the same way when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, if you promote something that doesn't work, then the next time you promote something, you say, "Well, that last one didn't work," or it Baines, so I don't believe you.
Yep,
And
yep,
and if you recommend something and then something comes out, more likely if you bought from you and it worked really good, you could recommend something else. I'm going to just automatically assume that it's probably going to work pretty good because you have the reputation of putting out products, you're
yep.
promoting products that
And,
work.
and and it goes to show, we've been in business 10 years, and I've always said that right from the beginning. If you have a product that does not work, you are not going to be in business very long.
Now, here's some more of your scent dispensers.
Yep. I designed those. Now, them are our drag rags there. Um, So we've got them all color coordinated. So we got the green, purple, and pink that go right along with all of our urine scents and our dabs and all that. All of our buck is all green. All of our Bewitched products, no esters, are purple, and then our ecstasy products are all pink. So guy can kind of use those drags and keep them assigned to whatever color product that he's using, and then he can kind of keep them separated and know which drag he's using for which, instead of having a drag that you got to wash and rinse out and reuse. And yep, so we offer the drags in all three colors that coordinate right along with our urines.
That way you have the idea of, you know what it was used for, so you're not mixing them.
Exactly. Now this is the hex stick drag right there. That is something I designed. That I came up with that several years ago. Um, so that stores your drag rag right there. You can see that drag rag. That all stores right inside of that. So it's got the waffle cylinder at the bottom that you put your the dabs in, or you can put a scent wick in it. Yep, you can put a scent wick in that, cotton balls, whatever you'd like to stuff into that. And then the other end holds that drag rag at that top where it's hanging by that paracord there. That top is a cap. It comes off from there, and that drag rag goes down inside of that. Close that up, and then you've got the drag string or rope, whatever you'd like to call it. That gets wrapped, and you go to that other picture, you can see that that was wrapped. It's got little fingers on the side of it that wraps your cord all the way around that, and that seals all up just like that. So you can take that, throw that right in your pack. It don't leak. It doesn't cause a mess. You don't get home and like, oh my God, that thing leaked all over inside of my backpack, and I got now my back. I got to pull everything out and wash it. And so, yep, I designed that several years ago. But the problem back then, now you got all these 3D printers out there. Before
Yeah.
we had to go to a plastics company, and of course they'd do it. They were, oh yeah, we'll build that for you. But it's we're going to charge you $3 a piece for them and a minimum order of 50,000 of them. And it's like, whoa, okay, well, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So
It's
finally, the 3D printers really started coming out there, and my brother actually built us our first prototype. And then, but he wasn't a hardcore 3D printer. And then we ended up finding a local 3D printer here in town that actually has a really big business. They've got, God, I don't even know, 15, 20 3D printers that they've got rolling all the time. And I gave him the design, the prototype that my brother built, and we sat down and discussed and said, my brother got it close, but it's not quite what I'm looking for, and that was it. He took that and went home, and he called me up a couple of days later. He's like, "Hey, you gonna be around the house?" And I was like, "I am." And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna spin over." He says, "I've done some changes to this, and I want to see if you like it." And that's what he come over with. And I was like, "Oh boy, you nailed it, dude. That's exactly what we were looking at."
yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing. What are you going to do? Is you're going to put it in a plastic baggie or something, and then and it works, but yeah, not the best because
Yep.
then you get a hole in the bag, or you get now you put your fingers in there to pull it out, and the bag's all
Yep.
full of scent, and now you
And
got all over your fingers.
that's literally what I used to do. You would put them drags, and I didn't want to get my rope in there that you put around your, so you would leave it out, so you literally couldn't seal the Ziploc all the way because you had your string running out of there. And like I said, you'd get home, and of course it had opened all the way up and fell out of the bag, and it's like, oh my goodness. So that was the whole idea around this, was trying to make it quick, clean, and easy, and just, yeah, so that you're not getting all covered in deer urine, which personally it doesn't bother me. I guess if I get urine on my fingers, if I'm out deer hunting, I'm not going to sweat it. But some people don't like that. And the biggest thing was just getting it inside of your gear. It would, like you
Yeah,
said, the Ziploc bag you would pop open, or different things like that. And so yeah, that was kind of the whole idea coming up with all this, was just to kind of get something that was a little more user friendly and wouldn't get urine getting all over all your gear. And then the next one, oh, that's the mini hex. Now that is just literally just the dispenser. So it's the same as that hex drag, only this doesn't store your drag rag. It doesn't store your cord for dragging it. It is just literally a scent dispenser. So you can see on the bottom of there, it's got threads. So you shove that up to where it stops, and you thread it back in. And now, in order to access that, there's actually another set of threads that it's pulled down to right there. There's a second set of threads that you continue to unthread it from there, and it pulls right apart into two pieces, allows you to access that waffle cylinder, so that you can put your dabs in it, or you can put a wick in it, or cotton balls, or whatever. Some guys literally use just pieces of like an old cotton shirt that they'll drench down with urine and stuff down in there too. So there's multiple different ways that you can use that. And the nice thing about that is that waffle cylinder on the mini hex actually swaps out with the waffle cylinder on the hex drag. So you can swap those cylinders back and forth, because they're all the same size. The only thing different is that the hex drag has the storage compartment, and then the little fingers on it there for wrapping your cord around.
that's pretty good. I used to take just an old hunk of the hide and use that, and then tie it on it, and tie a little string on it, and then I just hang on a branch if I forgot it. Big deal. I got more
Yeah.
hide.
Oh, the wife left. Yeah, I set her up one night, and she come out of her stand and going through her stuff. I'm like, hey, where's those hex sticks that I give you? She's like, oh crap, I left those hanging out there in the tree. So luckily, the next time we was out there, they were still hanging there, so we got them back. But yeah, somebody been happy coming through the woods, like, oh, look at that. That's a pretty
Yeah,
cool dispenser.
yeah. You'd be surprised how many people walk past stuff like that and don't even notice it.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, I was about 20 feet up in a tree, setting up a tree stand in a public hunting area, and this couple and their kid come walking through, walk pretty much basically underneath my tree that I was in. They never knew I was there. Never looked up. Of course,
Perfect.
I wasn't moving, making noise either. But
Right. That's right. That's it. Perfect.
I was just in jeans and a shirt, not
Right.
even in
Oh, yeah.
camo or anything.
Yep. People just don't pay attention sometimes, though, and they're just walking through the woods. This is our Black Magic set management spray, because if you know anything about, I know all these people, they advertise scent elimination, and I'm going to just say this: the guy who comes up with the product that you can spray on your body and it eliminates your scent, that guy is going to be a multimillionaire. And I don't care, as long as you are breathing, you are giving off scent. So until somebody can come up with that invisible force field that goes all the way around you and contains everything right there around you, yeah, the best you can do is manage your scent. You cannot eliminate it. All you can do is manage it. So if I'm giving off 100 scent molecules, if I can spray down and I'm only giving off 50 scent molecules, well, I've cut that in half. And you know what? In today's world, I'm happy with that. I'm managing my scent as best as I can.
Now, how does this product work? It looks like it has activated carbon
Yep, it's
formula.
yep, carbon, and it's infused with copper. So the copper helps to trap those odors as well, and so does that activated carbon. And yep, it's just a spray on liquid that you spray yourself down with. Personally, I use it mainly to cover my feet tracks because I remember, I'm getting up there. I'm 59 years old, and back when I was hunting a kid, they didn't have any of this stuff. And I
No.
remember the deer used to come in, and every single time they would cross the trail where I'd walked in, they would pick up my feet tracks. And of course, they wouldn't stick around very long. So I remember when the first scent sprays came out, and I sprayed my boots all down, and I went out hunting, and the deer crossed my path where I come in, and they never even know. I was like, wow, this stuff actually works. And then of course I kept using it, and it kept showing me that it was working. And so I use it more for covering my feet tracks. I'll drench my boots down with it pretty good. And it does a great job at covering my trail where I've walked in. Again, like I said, I spray down too. When I get in my tree, I'll spray my hat and my head and, pretty much spray myself all down real good. But I also know that, you still got to play the wind. There's, like I said, there's nothing out there that's going to do 100%. I know that some of these companies advertise that, but if you've been in the woods long enough, I use the old scent elimination sprays, and oh geez, look at that deer. Here he comes up downwind of me, and guess what he does? He snorts and wheels around, and off he goes. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. Shit, I thought this stuff eliminated my scent. It didn't take very long to figure out that no, it doesn't. It will
Yeah.
knock your scent down. It'll help manage it. And that's kind of what I've always told folks too, is that it might be just that difference you need to get that buck to take that one more step that you need to get that shot off. And
Right.
if that's all it does for you, then great. But like I said, mainly I use it for covering my feet tracks, and so deer don't pick up on my trail where I walked in. And even though I wear rubber boots, sometimes you step in something that you didn't see, didn't know, and the deer do. They'll pick it up if you come in there with some foreign smell on your boot. They'll smell it. So that's pretty much what I use it for, is my feet tracks. And again, like I said, I'll spray from head to toe once I get on stand. But like I said, knowing that I still need to play the wind because I'm still breathing, and as long as I'm breathing, I'm giving off scent. And so, yep, that's our scent
Yeah.
management spray.
Yeah, I know if you put like a cover stand, like you use one of the scents that you have and you put on your drag rag and you're
Yep,
dragging it and you walk in there and you walk up to your tree stand and I've seen them where they come in, follow the scent you left, whether you put anything on or not, they're just following your scent for some reason.
yep.
Go to the base of your tree, and look up at you.
Oh yes, and that's another word of advice. I never, when I'm doing a drag, I never walk straight to my tree. I usually will go out around. I'll get maybe 20 yards from my stand, and then I'll arc out around and stay out away from my tree stand, maybe 20 yards, and do a big half moon around it. Set it usually on my mock scrape I'm always running mock scrapes, but I'll hang that up and over my mock scrape. Then I walk to my tree and climb up into my stand because it does help. So those deer, especially if they are tracking that scent from that drag, you don't want them. I don't like shots right underneath me though, especially with a bow.
Yeah.
Those are like the hardest shots ever. And I've missed several deer in the years past when I'd rather have them out there about 10 yards, honestly, is about perfect for me.
Yeah, I always try to set up for 20-yard shots, but my first shot was 40. I think I've had one or two shots at 20. All the rest have been less than that.
Yep. Yep. Most of my deer, I got to say the same thing. Most of my deer I'm shooting are probably 15 yards or closer, to be honest with you. And like I said, I don't like them getting too close because then it makes that angle's just a little bit too sharp and makes it a little bit tougher of a shot. So I like to get them, like I said, I get them in that 7 to 10 yard range. That I'm pretty good at that range right there.
Yeah, that's a good range. They've got feed and minerals out here too on your site.
Yep, we do. That's our Munchies deer feed there. That is roasted soybean, cracked corn, sunflower seeds. There is some protein deer pellets in it. Geez, it does have some oats in it as well. I think that's about it on that deer feed. They love it. They tear that stuff up, and literally, if I recommend to my guys, don't be dumping out the whole bag at one time, because if you got any kind of population of deer in your area, they'll eat it all in one night. So just kind of ration them, give them a little bit at a time, and just kind of keep them coming back to get. I probably put out, honestly, I probably put out maybe 2 pounds at a time, and then I spread it out too, so that they got to work for it. They can't just get a big mouthful of it and eat it all up and that. So
You just spread it on the ground then.
yep, yep. You can see right there how far out were all them turkeys, and you can see where they got it knocked down. Literally, that's how much I spread that all out, and I make them have to. They get to pick up a kernel at a time. There it is, a little bit, I guess, more condensed than usual. But you see the cardinals. The cardinals love it too.
Yeah. Nothing else you can take pictures of the cardinals.
Yes, for sure. Yep. And then we've got our mineral. The first one there is our that needs to get changed. I see it showing. We actually just picked up 2 ton today. Just literally this afternoon, I went down and picked up 2 more ton of our mineral. We sell out of that stuff. We go through that relatively quick. So that's going to be coming back out of stock right here, probably this evening. It should probably already have been, but we've been busy and haven't had time to jump on the website and do some updates. But yep, we got fresh mineral in on that. And then we get into our flavored stuff. So which is our Fat Racks mineral there. But then we had a lot of people requesting different flavor minerals. And so we got the persimmons, the crazy candy apple, and the persimmons blaze, and mean green apple, and pimpin' peanut butter, radical red delicious, which is red delicious apple, and then yep. So we pretty much crazy candy apple. Yep, they were kind of repeating on some of these. Yeah. So you got the mineral dip. If you go back up there, that's why we're doubling up on them on flavors, because you'll see the it's going to be in the okay right there, the that rack sack mineral, the fourth one over mineral dip. Those are actually um oh burlap bags that we fill with mineral. Those are maintenance minerals. So you will hang that over top of your mineral site, and every time it rains, it'll sit there and drip. And there's 2 bags coming each one. So you get 2 of those bags. Yep, and you just hang them over top of your mineral site, and every time it rains, those will drip into your mineral site, and kind of a maintenance deal. Those have went over very well. Guys like those, gals like those very much. And make sure you hang them up high enough, because we have had reports of deer running off through the woods with them in their mouth. they will rip, they will rip them out of the tree. Bears like them as well. We've had reports of guys that are in areas where there's bear. They will rip them out of the tree too and take off with them. So if you're not getting any rain, then we recommend that you come in there with like a 16-ounce bottle of water and just pour water slowly over top of it, activates it, gets it dripping, and so that's it. But we've been getting pounded with rain here in Iowa this year, so the rain hasn't been a problem. So yep,
Yeah.
those are just a mineral maintenance bag, and they work very well, and a lot of our people are really liking those. So we sell a lot of those actually.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rain. I'm in Nebraska, right next to
Oh
Iowa.
yeah, so yep. So
Yeah,
you were
right.
right there with us. I hunt all public, and I hunt river bottoms, and the river bottoms went underwater about mid-June, and literally just came out here like 2 weeks ago. We get a few days that water would drop down, but then we get more rain again, and it'd flood right back
Yeah.
up again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Sometimes we're really dry and other times we're not.
Well, you guys
So,
probably had the same thing. The 3 years prior, we were drought. We've been drought
yeah.
for 3 years straight. We are the river down there. I literally that third year, there was areas of that river you could literally jump across it. And that river's usually about 50, 60 yards wide. Yeah, maybe probably 75 yards wide. And you at times you could have drowned it if you thought you were going to try to go across it. And then yeah, last year and the 2 years before, God, it got so low down there you could literally jump across the rivers like a creek running down through there.
Yeah, I know this year we had some flooding. Last year we had some flooding and yeah, the last rain we got, I thought for sure it's going to come over the banks, but it
Right.
did.
Yeah.
The Wahoo Creek right by where I'm at. I'm in between Omaha and Lincoln.
Oh, okay. So you're right here at the east side then.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. So
yeah.
these are our food plot seeds. So we've got a little bit of everything. That rack exploder, that's more of a fall plant. Guys been planting that way. They started a couple 3 weeks ago here in the Midwest. We're getting to the end now for getting those fall plots in. Might have a little bit of time yet, but it's now you get the guys down maybe into southern Missouri and Oklahoma and maybe Kentucky and Tennessee. They still got a little bit of time left to get some of the fall plots in, but we're winding down pretty good on our on those fall plots. So that rack exploder is uh, a fall plot, and then we've got our extreme perennial, our X20 perennial. Those are basically hay fields. The X20 perennial is a mix of alfalfa and clover. The extreme perennial is a mix of alfalfa, clover, and chicory. And then the rack exploder, I'd have to click on that to see it's got brassica. Um, God, I think it's got turnips. I want to say down there what we got. Rack exploder, crafted with a blend of brassica, turnips, clover, and chicory. Yep. So that is our in our bags. Each bag will do a quarter acre, and that's probably you can click that second one. You get to see what the turnips look like in that mix. Yeah,
Those
nice,
good
nice.
sized turnips.
Yeah, nice big ones. So that is our number one fall seller for the fall food plots, which I say most guys here started planting those around the second week of August, mid-August. Even some of them are planted as late as just a week ago or so. But like I said, we're getting kind of down there now where it's getting a little bit late, where you just not quite enough growing time left here before we start getting frost. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Now,
So
do the deer just eat the leaves or they eat the turnip as well?
they'll dig those turnips up come wintertime when it gets real cold. So they'll sit there and they'll nibble on those greens, and they'll eat those greens up pretty decently while they're growing. But then, yep, once we hit into that real cold, into maybe late December, January, and February, when we get into that real bitter cold, they will come out and they'll start digging those out of the ground and eating them. Same thing with our sweet beets. Same kind of deal on that. They do like those greens, but they'll they'll dig them out of the ground come wintertime. Yep, for the sweet beets right there. Yep, we just have the one picture of that rare, I guess. But yep, that's just a them are good. They get big. They get pretty big too. Those sweet beets do. So, and sometimes I know some guys have struggled with beets a little bit and not getting them to really work for them. And a lot of it is I think some of these guys planting beets, the deer have never seen beets before, because a lot of people
Right.
don't plant beets, and deer just don't know really what they are. And we've had a couple guys that went out and said, "Hey, all you got to do is go out there and dig up a handful of them and then cut them in half and throw them out on top, expose them and throw them on the ground. And the deer will come in, they'll get a taste of those. And then they'll start digging. Well, oh, those taste good. And then they'll start coming in. So another little recommendation for guys that may have trouble with their turnips or their beets and the deer really aren't eating them: get out there and pull a few out of the ground. Maybe pull out 15, 20 of them out of the ground and cut them in half and get them out there on top of the ground and let those deer actually kind of investigate them. Because I think sometimes they just don't realize that, oh, they're underground, they're in the ground. Actually have to dig this up to get to it. But once they get a taste of it, it seems like then they kind of figure out, oh, okay, I can start digging these up. And like I said, you get into that late winter where feed gets a little scarce for them. Their browse is pretty much going away, and food plots are done, and corn's harvested, soybeans are done. That's it. Then they'll start hitting onto them turnips and those beets. Yep, these are just some accessory stuff that we've got. Arrow wraps. We are dealers for Warhead arrows, so we carry the Warhead arrow line along with their arrow wraps. And then we've got these just a Euro mount for putting on the wall, for hanging your Euro mounts on the wall, little brackets, just, yep, screw them in the wall and hang your skull mount right off from those. That's what those are there. Yep, and those are the components for the rain, the warhead arrows. And then, like I said, we carry all the full line of arrow wraps and arrows and all that from Warhead Arrow Company. So we've been with them for a couple years now. They've got crossbow bolts and then regular arrows as well too. So, yep. And then some pinup girl. They like the pinup girl arrow wraps.
Wraps, yeah. I've seen that. So you got some orange wraps with 6-inch long ones, it looks like.
Yep. Yep. So lots and lots of different stuff. Yep. For arrow wraps. And then, like I said, the components and all those components you're seeing there, we carry all those arrows to the tomahawks and exothermics and all that stuff. So, yep, they were getting into the reins right there. That's one arrow model.
40 to 160. So it must be straightness difference.
I think what that the 160 is more arrows. You're looking. I think that 39.99 is probably like a 3-pack, and then yep, 3-pack shafts. Yep. So then a 6-pack and a 12-pack. So you get up into the 12. Well, and then you get down here your 12-pack where they come fully fletched, and then you've got a choice between the Blazer vanes or the AAE vanes. And so then, yeah, that's where you can get into a little bit more money. So if you go to like a 12-pack of the reins with, or let's say, yeah, we'll go to the 12-pack of the reins with the AAE fletching, then you'll spend a little bit more money because those AAE fletchings are a little more expensive than your standard Blazer vanes.
Now, these are just the shafts themselves. I fletch my own normally.
Yeah, so. But you can get them fletched too, and that's where you'll spend a little more money if you want them fletched. If you want to buy just the bare shafts, then you'll get them a little bit cheaper. So it's all depending. I know a lot of guys like to fletch their own arrows, so you can get all these arrows through us on our website, and you can get them fletched or you can get the bare shafts. And of course, if he fletches them and all that, then you'll pay a little bit more money for that, for the fletching itself, plus the the time that it takes to get them fletched.
Yeah, it looks like you use the best jigs.
Yes. Yep. So there's got the exothermics, the reins, and the tomahawks. Those reins are one of their better sellers. Those exothermics, they sell pretty good too. Those are those got the outside diameter of the 0.303, and then those tomahawks that were on there, they're the micro shafts. So you're getting down into what I think they're like a 0.16, something like that. I can't remember, I guess, without actually looking at them. So
yeah,
yep, you get down, they're those tomahawks, those are your micro. Yep, these are the reins. These are kind of just a good all-around good arrow, kind of a middle of the road, just a good arrow, good performing arrow. They've got the 0.281 outside diameter. So they're a little bit, they're a little smaller diameter than those exothermics.
Now you've got your straightness plus or minus 3/1000 to 1/1000.
Yep.
So that's the 3/1000 plus or minus 1/1000 for straight.
Yeah. Yep. So that's pretty standard. That 0.003 is fairly standard in the index. These are the tomahawks. Now, these are the 0.165 inside diameter, the 238 on the outside. So they're a micro shaft. So they're the real small, round, little skinny. A lot of guys like them. They feel they get a little bit better penetration because there's just not as much shaft there that's dragging.
Yeah.
Yep. So whether that's, and I'm sure, and looked at it from a 20,000 foot view, that's probably true. But Like I said, back in the day, I was shooting aluminum, the Chuck Adams double X 78 super slams, and those things
That's
were
what I
around.
shot.
Yep. And I put a lot of those through deer without much trouble either. So, but I do,
Yeah.
a lot of guys like those micro diameter shafts anymore.
Yeah, I shot the 2512, so I shot a big old fat one.
Oh, you shot the logs. I shot the 2117s.
Yeah, those at that time the double X 78s were the straightest shafts you could get. They were 1,500s.
Yep.
And now I shoot 1,000 straightness.
Yep.
That's all I shoot. I hunt with the one. The difference between a 3,000 straightness and 1,000 straightness is on a 5 spot, keep them in the white or keep them in the X ring.
Right. 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 Yep.
And I hunt with the 1,000s.
Yep. And I know a lot of guys that are real particular. They like those straight as you can get them. I want that's what I want.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine. He was shooting when I had my store. He was shooting his Beemans, I think it was our 3,000 straightness,
Yep.
and he shot vanes. I shoot feathers. I shoot 4-inch feathers. Still do. I have for 60 years.
Yep. And I
But
did back in the day too with those Chuck Adams super slams. I was shooting, I like the feathers. I shot feathers for years as
4-inch feathers.
well. Yep.
That's what I do, and that's what I still use.
Yep. And then
And
they come out with the blazer veins, and now they were kind of the latest rage, and everybody jumped on that. And now AAE, like I said, they've come out with their own flex line too. And then now, of course, everybody's kind of leaning towards them. And so kind of personal preference, I guess, or whatever you shoot well. If it worked, I'm one of those guys too. If it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of deal. If it works for you, then keep shooting it.
yeah,
That's where I'm at with that.
well, like I say, I give Jim some of my arrows, and he's amazed how much tighter his groups was.
Right, right. Oh yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
had a pretty good group, but then when you get them ones who used to shooting the threes and you start smacking arrows,
Oh yeah. You notice the difference. Oh, most definitely.
yep, you get a few more Robin Hoods that way too.
Yep. Yeah. I don't like Robin Hoods. That gets expensive.
Yeah, yeah, not anymore. I've got my share of them. I've gotten two with carbons, and that was interesting. I was working at Cabela's, and they had a bow come in. We put together a brand new bow. I forget who the manufacturer was, and we set one up. And I shot it first. I shot two shots, stuck two of them together. Then we had two or three other people set them up for their length of employees and shooting
Yep.
them. And John, he with 1-inch circles, he hit 5 out of 6 of them. And then he come down and says, "Oh, we got to pull them off the floor. There's something wrong with them." Like, what's wrong with them? We
Right.
had one set up, and I said, "We got two more. Can we set those up?" No. So they disappeared for a while and come back. But it says here, I just did this with this bow that's supposed to have problems being set up.
Right. Right. Right.
And then my other one,
I don't see the problem.
yeah, the other one I did when I was there was this guy. He just couldn't group, so he had in mind that it was his rest. He wanted to drop away. Okay, drop aways are okay. I put the drop away on, got it all set up. How do you test a drop away? See if it works. You got to shoot it.
Yep.
So I shot one arrow, drew back second time, shot the second arrow, stuck the two together. Um, and the guy come in and is like, "This is what your bow does now. If you can't do that, that's on you."
Yep. It's not the bow.
And I probably got 3 or 4 of them with aluminum arrows. I got one. I was at 30 yards, I think, or 40 yards. I forget which now, and got one. I used to just when I shoot in the double X 78s, I used to destroy the knocks and the bushings for the
Yep.
knock all the
Yep.
time because I didn't shoot the combo points. I shot the bullet points. So anybody doesn't know, the bullet point is real sharp angles.
Okay.
It's probably maybe between the two angles, maybe 120 degrees.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty flat point. And in order to stick to them together, it has to be perfectly dead center. Otherwise, it deflects off, and
Oh,
I've
right.
broken a
Right.
lot of knocks, and the bushing in there, I've messed up those, and I've got a few of them with the aluminum arrows with that bullet point, and I still shoot bullet points. I just they're not as sharp on my fingers when
Right,
you touch
right.
them.
Yeah, we used to me and my buddies, we was younger, we shot all the time, like all the time. And that's what we got into the place like, dude, I'm taking your knockoff. Dude, come on, don't be shooting my nope, shoot your knockoff. Whack. All right, that's it. Game on. So then they're shooting your knockoff, and yeah, it turned into kind of a game until after you started ruining each other's there. It's like, all right, that's enough. I'm not shooting your knockoff no more.
Yeah.
Yep, and we are dealers for executioner broadheads. So those demon hunters on it, we what's left, you'll see they say only two left, only one left on those. Those are going away. So we are just literally selling what we have left in stock. The demon hunters are actually Pigman. Those are his broadheads that he designed, and he and Executioner have not sure what happened on all that, but they he kind of went his way and they went their way. So we're just selling what we have left in stock, and once they're gone, they are gone. I was actually going to get a hold of Brian Quaka, their Pigman, and see if he still was going to be producing them broadheads, because I do have several of my guys that are bummed out. And you see there's some others that aren't even on here because I had a couple of my guys come over and buy what we had left. Like, well, if I'm not going to be able to get those no more, I want the rest of what you got. And so there actually was quite a few different heads on there, them demon hunters. So those are going, but all the executioner heads, those are going nowhere. I've been shooting those executioner heads since 2014. I lost one deer I've lost since 2014, so 11 years, and that was my fault. I made a bad shot and hit him in the neck, and I was not low enough to catch the juggler, but I was not high enough to hit him in the spine to drop him, and that was it. He ran off with an arrow sticking out of his neck, and I looked for that deer for a couple of days and never did end up finding him. So, but that's the only one, and now I'll stand up and say, "Yep, that was me. I just happened to make a bad shot, and that one got away. But everything else I've shot with those heads, I love them. They perform very well for me, and I'm again come back to the old if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of deal. And I do like the mechanical head, and they have performed very well for me. So I have stuck with them. And you see down there, we are also dealers for Wise Eye trail cameras. And so, yep, we carry their, not everything that they have on their website, but pretty much most of it. And what we don't actually carry on the website, we can get for guys if you want. Well, we just have to go right through the through Wise Eye themselves, and they can hook us up with something that we might not have on our. We just didn't do everything. Like, we do have some of the cables and things like that, but it was like, you know what, we probably don't need to put everything that they got, all these different cables that use for different solar panels and blah blah blah. It's like, no, we'll just carry kind of the main stuff that sells, and we'll just leave it at that. And then you see down there at the bottom the original Dragon Gamble. That's Best Hunting Buddy. They have shut down, but they they got bought out. The wife says so. We can still get those. So if anybody is interested in those, we can still get them. Those are very nice. If you're used to the old gambrels where you had to cut the hocks and stuff it through and then lift them up in the air, these literally, that cable comes down and you stick their hind leg through that hind foot through the one side, stick the other hind foot through the other, and then just the pressure itself tightens that cable down and pinches their legs right in there and lift them right up and got them hanging right upside down. I like them, and you can drag deer out with those too. So, yep. Yep, there's for grabbing a hold of when you're dragging. And I think that next one probably shows a closer up more of how, yep, right there. You just pull that down enough to fit a deer leg through that and
And
cinch
it
it down. We met
just
them
pinches
over,
it.
yeah, we met them at the Iowa Deer Classic. And I'll tell you what, we were sitting there and doing our, running our booth, and people were coming by, and everybody had one of those dang things they was carrying around with them. Like, man, where are you guys getting those things? What are they? And And one of my buddies actually stopped by and had bought one. He's like, "Man, these are cool, man. I really like them and look like they're going to work good." So we went over and talked with them and become pretty good friends with them. And yep, so we kind of become a dealer for them, and then they got bought out. They'd ended up selling the business. So like I said, we can still get them for anybody that's interested in any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, lot of really cool items out here, and we got one more here. We got apparel that you have as well. We got some hats and
Yep. Now we carry all the hats, stocking caps, ball caps, beanies, and that we do keep in stock. The rest of our apparel is we do a print on demand. I'm not seeing. Is there another link? Because I'm only seeing the hats.
yeah. Let's see.
Something else. Okay, here you
Boots,
go.
hoodies, men's.
Hoodies, men's. Yep, view all.
Oh, you gotta go by that type
Yep.
here. Okay.
So we do a third party print on demand. Apparel just doesn't move like like crazy. It just doesn't. And so rather than have $10,000 in inventory with shirts and hoodies and everything else, we decided to go through a print on demand company. So they fulfill our orders as they come in. We went in and set up all them different designs on shirts, and of course you've got different colors and different sayings, our Fat Racks Mineral, and then Jinxem Nation and Jinxem Sense, and we all that. So we let them handle all of our printing, and it just makes it easier for us. We don't make much money on the apparel, unfortunately, but we're not really worried about that. We're more about getting it out there and getting the free advertisement that you get with it, and then we don't have to carry a ton of different stuff that we may or may not end up sitting on for a while, and then you get a lot of money tied up in inventory in your apparel. So, yep, that's why we do the print on demand. And every year, Don and I will make a big purchase too through them, and then just stock ourselves up. So we've got it here at the house too. But that stuff kind of sells out fairly decent. We go to for like trade shows, like the Iowa Deer Classic. We've done the Illinois Deer Classic. We've done the Ohio open season show. For the shows like that, we like to stock up on a bunch of apparel to take to the shows. So that's kind of when we do a bigger purchase for ourselves, and just so we've got that stuff on hand when we head over to these shows. And then it's nice with the print on demand because then we can offer our customers a lot more um, options, different shirts and different hoodies, and just because, like I said, if we wanted to carry all of this in house, man, we could have a lot of money wrapped up into apparel.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yep,
yeah, and this makes it a lot easier because it costs you wouldn't make any money on apparel unless you're selling lots and lots of it because just the cost of storing it, buying it, and then the lost money from storing it, and
yep,
that all costs. So
yep.
this
And we
this
did
makes
that
easy.
before, but we were limited. We had a hoodie and we had t-shirts, and that's all we had. And
Right.
we drop a couple $3,000 on that, and then it takes us a year to sell it all, and it kind of ties that money up for you. And it's like, man, we need to look in a little bit deeper into what we can do, and that's where we got into the print on demand. It just allowed us to pretty much offer more options to our customers, and then we don't have to worry about carrying that inventory.
Yeah, and the print on demand is going to have that same shirt. Um,
Yep, that
they're
shirt
going to
and
have this
many
shirt.
others.
Yeah, they're going to have lots of them because they print on demand, and they probably have that same shirt in more colors than what you're showing here.
Well, and that's it. When
But
we were carrying it ourselves, we had a black hoodie and we had black t-shirts. Of course, we
yeah,
had every size that everybody needed, but you were limited to a black hoodie or a black t-shirt. And it was just nice. We do like this. You see some of that. They got tie-dyed shirts and all kinds of different stuff. So, yep. And them are just the ones we just went through there on all. Those are all the companies that we are dealers for. So,
yeah, it
yep.
looks like you got a pretty good setup there, and hopefully we'll get a lot of people interested in some of this stuff because a lot of this stuff's pretty cool. And um, now couple of questions here. You
Okay.
know, I've got a hunting area that is um, crops. The
Yep.
whole, what, 60 acres or 80 acres, something like that, I forget what it is. And the only trees are along the outside ridge. Now,
Yep.
the deer come through there mostly at night and they sometimes during the day. But on this property, there is really no place to put any kind of a food plot because they're farming it.
Yep. Yep.
And, you know, if it's going to try and put it, there's a couple areas which a lot of grass. Grass is growing in there,
Yep.
and
CRP
that's good.
grass like that.
No, just grass between the one farmer's field next door and this field. There's a
Okay.
little kind of creek area. It's not really a creek because I've never seen any water in it,
Right.
but there's a little spot there in the corner where they're not going to farm it because it's the terrain is too rough to do it. It looks like it was a creek.
Yep.
You know,
Okay.
what would you recommend in an area like that where you don't really have a lot of place for food plot? And you got to be careful what you put out there because the deer are going to dig holes, wherever you put minerals.
Yep.
And there are spots where you can do it, but there's not really any super good places for trees.
Right.
You know,
Some places it can just be tough. I would recommend maybe if you're allowed to bait, to maybe run a bait pile. The good thing about the bait is that they don't dig holes with it. Your mineral, they like to dig holes. As that as that mineral and that salt leach into the soil, they go digging for it as it's going deeper in. They're following it, and that's where you end up getting those big holes. And then, of course, if you're on a farm, the farmer's like, yeah, I don't want a great big hole out there in my field because you want to throw mineral
right,
out. So our Munchies deer feed, or even any, I mean, a lot of guys will go to the local elevator and they'll pick up crack corn or they'll pick up shell corn, stuff like that, where you really can't put in a food plot and you really don't want to put the mineral, just a deer feed. Because the good thing about deer feed, like here in Iowa, we can bait and we can run mineral. However, 30 days prior to season opener, you have to stop dumping out feed. And if you have a mineral site out, they want you to go out and dig it up, dig all that dirt up and haul it out of there. Um, or if you're on private ground, they will allow you to cover it like with a sheet of plywood. And of course, you got to anchor that down and stake it to the ground so the deer can't access that mineral. So in Iowa, and I think there was a lawsuit that got done here several years ago. Don't quote me on this because I'm not 100% sure, but I did read it one time, but I still hadn't really seen much more on it. But what it looked like that they came to say that they were going to drop that time from a month down to 10 days. And so a bait site is considered baited 10 days after you quit putting bait on it. Same thing with a mineral site. A mineral site is considered baiting 10 days after you have dug it all out of the ground. So a lot of guys in Iowa don't like to run the mineral, just simple fact that I don't want to go out there and have to dig a 5 foot hole in the ground to try to get all that mineral and salt out of that dirt. And then I got to haul that away. And where do I take it? Wherever I dump
yeah,
it, the deer are going to start eating it there. So a lot of guys here in Iowa like to run the feed. And then, like I said, then a month or so, a lot of guys a month before season, they just quit feeding them. And a lot of them are using that feed, for inventory. They want to see what they've got. Are there any good bucks in here? I'm going to run
right,
my, I'm going to run my feed for June, July, and August, and then come September 1, I'm done. And hopefully by June, July, and August, I've already picked up a few of my shooters, and so that's what I would recommend on something like that. As far as if you can't put a food plot in, then if you can bait, or if you can bait up to a certain date, take advantage of that. That would probably be my advice. Now, if you're allowed to bait, you can hunt over bait, then I'd keep a bait pile going. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like baiting. They don't think it's hunting and they don't think it's ethical. And I'm one of those guys. As long as it's legal, you do whatever you want to do in your state. If they tell you can bait them and you want to sit over a bait pile, and I will, and I'll stand on their side when you got guys that got a quarter-acre food plot out there and they're ragging on the guy who's dumping bait on the ground. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So because you've got a 1/4 acre food plot over here that's drawing all these deer in to eat that, that's not baiting. But this guy over here that's got a pile of corn, he's baiting. It's all the same thing. They ain't no
Yeah.
different than farm ground. Those deer are on those farms. Why? Because there's soybean, there's alfalfa, there's corn. It's bait. They're there because that's where their food source is. Now, granted, it's spread out a lot further if you're on a big farm. So you're not able to pinpoint them and get them into a little 1/4 acre food plot. But in the big picture, the 20,000 foot view, that's bait. So I don't care if you're hunting over a cornfield, you're hunting over food. You're no different than the guy that's sitting over here over a corn pile. He's hunting over food. It's like a guy sitting on a little 1/4 acre food plot. He's hunting over food. So yeah, you see a lot of that bantering and bickering going back and forth on social media. And it's like, you know what? If it's legal, let them do it and have at it. And you ain't going to hear me say anything. You hunt the way you want to hunt. It's your tag. You kill what you want to kill. If you're happy with a doe, then you kill a doe. You're happy with a spike horn, you kill that spike horn. Now, I didn't buy your tag. It's not for me to tell you what you can and can't
Right.
and if you're on private ground, I don't get to hunt your property anyway. So what does it matter what you shoot on your own ground anyway? So, that's just where I'm kind of been at with all of that kind of stuff is like, just as long as it's legal, you do what you want. But you know what? Don't think that because you're hunting over a 1/4 acre food plot that you're any better than the guy who's hunting over a 5 gallon bucket of corn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, our laws here in Nebraska, last I heard, were pretty much similar. If you put anything out, it's got to be gone for 30 days before you hunt it, or you can't hunt within 100 yards of it or something like that. So
Yeah, and that's what they've got out here with us too. Is that you can bait all year round. Like I said, the minerals they want you to dig it out, but there also is, and this is where there's a lot of gray area in our state of Iowa because my DNR guy says, you know what, Shawn, the guys I write tickets for are guys who are literally hunting right over top of that mineral site, or they're hunting right over top of that bait site. So if you've got a bow in your hand and you're 100 yards off your mineral site, I am definitely not writing you a ticket. I mean, you might be good with that bow, but are you good enough to whack a deer at 100 yards with your bow? Probably not. But now, if you're
no.
sitting there with your shotgun we don't have rifle, we can use the straight wall cartridges. But like you said, you're sitting there with your 450, 100 yards away from that mineral site with a clear view of that mineral site. I'm probably going to write you a ticket. So just don't hunt around them and close to them. And, depending on what weapon you're using, you're not going to hear me say boo, but then he threw this in. But the officer in the next county over, he will write you a ticket if you're 500 yards off from that mineral site, if he thinks you are sitting on a trail that leads to that mineral site. I'm like, well, I could go 5 miles away and never leave a deer trail and walk up on my mineral site. So, I mean, technically, he could write me a ticket, but I'm 5 miles away. Oh, you're hunting on a trail, at least that mineral site. Well, yeah, 5 miles down the river bottom, it does eventually come to my mineral site. So,
Yeah.
like my guy said in my county, he's like, just maybe even introduce yourself to the local DNR officer in that county if you're going to hunt a different county, and run it by him. Tell him what you're doing, what's going on, what's his look at it, and then you keep yourself in the safe. So, and I'm a big one for that, owning this company, and I always have followed the law since my parents were pretty stickler about all that. You don't do anything. You don't poach. You don't. If you can't bait, then you don't bait. You follow the laws, and that's just the way that you're going to do it. And that's the way, or you don't get to hunt no more. And then as I'm an adult now, same kind of philosophy. Don't be doing stupid stuff because you lose your hunting rights. And believe me, I love my hunting too much to risk it over whether or not I'm going to put some mineral or a deer bait out, or I'm going to go out with a spotlight and shoot a deer. I mean, yeah, none of that's even worth it to me in any way, shape, or form. I'm that guy.
No.
And because I own the business, I get looked at probably even a little bit more under that microscope. I make sure I dot my I's and cross my T's, and I follow the game laws to the letter. And I don't like, I was a prison guard for 17 years, so I don't like trouble.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to be on the other side of those bars.
No, exactly. And I definitely don't want to lose my hunting rights, because I would go bonkers if I didn't get to go deer hunting. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah.
So I'll just do it legally. And if I end up eating tag soup, then I eat tag soup, but I'm definitely not going to cheat to just so I can shoot a deer. I've shot enough animals in my lifetime. It's not even about that anymore.
Yeah, like you're saying, you've shot a lot of animals, so now it's not a challenge. You know, do the challenge and go for the trophy.
Yep.
Uh, Me, I more hunt for the meat. You know, if the has a rack presents itself, a decent rack, I'll shoot it. But
Yep.
otherwise, I'm mostly hunting for the does.
Yep. Put
One, they
that
taste a little bit better, and you know, would I pass up a nice buck? No.
right. Oh no, right. Exactly. There he is. That's a good one. I'm gonna take him. But hey, if he don't show and a nice big fat doe walks by, it's like, okay, well, here's one. I'm gonna put this in the freezer because I'm definitely gonna have some meat here over the season, over the year until next season rolls in. So, and I
Yeah.
do the same. I do the urban hunt here in Cedar Rapids. So we've got to kill 5 doe in one season to earn our buck tag for the following season.
Oh
So
yeah.
killing 5 doe every year and we put them in we eat everything. We can it, we make burger out of it, we jerky it, we sausage it, we do pretty much everything with all of it. So in 5 deer, and that's honestly why I don't get pressed I'll eat a tag before on my public ground. I'm hunting bucks only and I'm hunting for good bucks only, but I put 5 doe in the freezer on my urban hunt. So guess what? I'm not really so pressed about just shooting a deer. I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna pick out look for maybe the top 2 or 3 that I got on my hit list. And if at the end of the season I end up eating tag soup, no big deal. I got a freezer full of meat and it's all good. And I mean, a tag only cost me $28.50, and I'm not gonna sweat it over $28.50.
No.
I'm worried
No,
about, oh my goodness, I need to shoot that little buck just so I can fill my buck tag now. And I guess getting older too. I'm 59, like I said, and it's not all about killing stuff anymore. I think the older I get, the more I start to recognize my own mortality, and it's not just when you're a kid, it was like, oh man, it's a free for all. And as you get older, you just kind of get a little bit more appreciation for life, and you look at those animals a little bit different. At least I do. Maybe not everybody does, but like I said, I like I said, look at my own mortality a little bit more, and so it's not all about the kill anymore. It's all about the challenge, and you challenging myself. And kick on the light here. We're getting a little dark.
yeah, your son disappeared.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I seen that. So yeah, so that's me. I'm more of the I enjoy sitting in the woods. I don't need to kill a deer. I enjoy watching the wildlife, and where I hunt here in Iowa, I see otters and I see squirrels and possums and pretty much you name it. Then we got those big old wood. I don't even what they're the woodpecker, those great big woodpeckers we got here, and you just see some really neat stuff out in the woods. And that's what I'm out anymore. The older I get, I just enjoy being in the woods and watching the wildlife. And I look at harvesting a big buck as just a bonus, to the whole deal. But I'd rather just sit every day and watch the wildlife go about their business. And it makes it kind of fun just to sit out and do that. I'm not all about killing stuff.
Yeah, and as bow hunters get to see stuff in the wild that nobody gets to see.
100%. 100. Some stuff's really cool, and you tell your buddy. And I film hunts too, so a lot of times I get it on film. But before I was doing all the filming years ago, you tell your buddy like, "Oh, whatever, you did that." It's like I did too. Now you can come in and go like, "Here you go, I got it on video, man." Everybody's got their phones; they carry to the woods with them anymore too. So
Yeah.
you can always get stuff on video. But yeah, like you said, there's just really cool stuff that not everybody out there gets to see every day, and it does. It's nice. It's special kind of get to sit out and witness all that, and yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, when you're in full camo, uh, I haven't had any happen yet, but birds will land on you. I've talked to guys, it's like bird just comes landed on his shoulder, just thought he's part of the tree, and he just
Yep.
sat there and just waited, and
Those chickadees, they'd like to do that. I've had them land on my bill and my hat, and literally I had one time one land on my bill and he tucked his head right over the edge and he was looking right at me like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, wow, this is really cool, don't move. don't move. And he fluttered off. But it's yeah, those moments in the outdoors are like them are kind of what it's all about right there for me.
Yeah, it's well, we didn't talk about your hunting exploits, but this was some really good information, and I'm glad we kind of hit this right away, and a lot of good stuff in here, and a lot of good ideas, and there's always ideas running through your head about what you can do, and sometimes putting the food out, the minerals out, you know use the scents or that you can use pretty much all year round, and
Yep.
you can drag them in while you're hunting, and you don't have to worry about it, and it attracts them, and you
Yep.
don't
And
have to worry about
I'm
leaving
a
it.
big mock scrape guy. I live to run mock scrapes and set my cameras up. And with the new cell cameras nowadays too, it's nice because you can sit home and the phone goes off and ooh, look at, there's a nice one standing on my mock scrape right now. And so I really do. I enjoyed that probably honestly more than I do the hunting sometimes, I think, just running all them different cameras out there with my mock scrapes and just, I enjoy seeing all the deer coming in and you get a couple good ones show up here and there, and it's showing out, sending them off to your buddy. Man, look at this buck that come in my mock scrape today. Oh my God, he's a giant. And then you go out and hunt him and you don't see him.
Yeah, yeah. I had cameras out where I'm on hunting on that property I was telling you about, and I had cameras out, and there was a little buck and a nice sized buck come through on the camera, and then I did see a little bit nicer one come through about 10 to 2 o'clock in the morning. They come through
Yep.
at night.
Yep.
I, I don't think I ever caught them during the daylight. On some does I caught during the daylight, and some of them coming through right before shooting time. And you
Always.
know, what can you do? There's they're coming through at night. It's kind of nice to know that where you're hunting, they're not there at all during the day.
Oh yeah. And I've got bucks like that too that I've never laid my eyes on, never seen them. And in pretty much every picture or video I get of them is at night. They do not daylight. When I'm out there hunting, I do not see them. I had a buck I called Little Guy. I hunted that buck when I picked him up. I guessed him at 5.5. He was a big deer and he could have been even older, but I watched that buck. And if he would have showed up the last season when he finally did disappear, he'd have been 11 and a half years old on public ground. And I never, in all of those years I hunted that buck, I never once laid my eye. I never seen him, never laid my eyes on that deer. And just, you got some deer like that. They're just smart and they just know how to, that's it. I ain't moving. It ain't dark. I ain't getting up. I ain't going nowhere. So,
Learned real quick.
oh yeah.
Daylight's danger.
Yep, they do. Some of those big boys, they do. And I kind of wonder, I think that a lot of those bucks like that, they get like that, they've been wounded and maybe even been wounded a couple times and laid up in the woods after getting whacked with an arrow or maybe even a bullet and on the verge of death, but they lived. But they learned a very, very, very valuable lesson. And some of those deer, they take it to heart. Like, I cannot move when it's daylight. I am not moving. And even when the doe are in heat, they just know better. And some of them I've seen, and you have too. I'll guarantee it. Deer do some really stupid stuff during the rut. Like,
Yep.
but then I think there are a handful of bucks out there that even during the rut, they're able to keep their wits about them. Like, nope, I'm not doing it. There'll be plenty of time for the ladies when that sun goes down, and I ain't going anywhere right now because I know what happens if I do. So I don't know. It's some of those deer, they surprise you sometimes. About time you think you got them figured out, they throw you a curveball and leave you standing there scratching your head going, what the heck just happened?
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know what they're going to do. And, that the one year I put cameras out, was it last year? And for some reason, when I put them out, I didn't get any of them turned on. There's no pictures on them because I didn't get the camera turned on. For some reason,
Right.
I thought I was turning on, and none of them were turned on.
I've done that
And
before, left it for like 3 weeks and come out and open the camera. You're like, oh, are you kidding? I forgot to turn the camera on. Man, I just lost 3 weeks of intel.
yeah, and the one year I did catch some does coming through in that one area down at the corner, that really not a good spot to shoot. In February, they come through that area, that trail during the daylight.
Yep.
We don't hunt in February.
Exactly.
we're,
Yeah.
we're,
We
we're,
close
we're
January
done.
10th. We're done. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I swear to God, some of those deer know it too, because you can sit there and you don't see them, you don't see them, you don't see them. And then all of a sudden season's over. And then they're, oh, there he is standing on my mock scrape now. Haven't seen you all season or just a
Yeah.
couple times in the middle of the night. Now here it is the day after seasons closes at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And you're standing on my mock scrape. It's like those suckers, I swear to God, some of them have calendars.
Well, I remember when Fontenelle Forest was going to have a hunt before they even had any hunts at all. Because, back in the 60s, you could not see 100 yards in the forest.
Right.
Well, and then, this, probably 20 some years ago anyway, when they started hunting, but there was no cover from about 6 feet down. It was all gone. You could see 100 yards, no problem. And they wanted to hunt, and all the anti-hunters, they were complaining. It's like, well, it's just going to go up there and just shoot them. Day one, kind of. Day two, no.
Yep.
They knew they were being hunted after day two.
It don't take them long. That's Michigan, where I grew up. And that was it. And I always told everybody after a few years, it's like, you know what? If I don't get my buck opening day, I'm probably not getting a buck this year, because those that are still alive are dug in so deep, they're not moving. And literally the only way you were getting them to move at that time was if you're, pushing them out and doing deer drives and things and getting them on their feet. But if you didn't do that, man, you could sit there the rest of the season and those deer just hold tight, and that's it. They figured out real quick. Like that's danger. They're gonna kill us. Don't run out there. Nope. Lucy, don't go out there. You're gonna get shot. Sure enough,
Yeah.
she gets shot, and they're like, "Yep, told you."
Yeah. And the does even learned that quick.
Oh yes.
And then down at Gifford Farms, down at the point there, you going through Gifford Farms to get to the public hunting area. Otherwise, you went through the river, get
Yep.
to it.
Okay.
And every deer looks up. There's so many people hunted in there. They're used to being hunters in trees.
Yep.
So I haven't never hunted there, but the guys have, it's like, yeah, deer's walking down the trail, looking up, look up, walking a little bit more, look up. So if you're silhouetted, you're not getting a deer. You
Exactly. They
have to have
bust you out
cover
every.
behind you.
Yep. They bust you out every time. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's from above. All right, where are you at? Oh yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
they're a lot smarter than people give them credit for. I'll say that. And off season and that they get kind of stupid, and that because they're not being hunted. But man, it don't take but a couple days. And I mean, I see it down where I hunt on that public. Everything is good, and then we get in a couple weeks before season, and then you get people coming in, setting stands, and putting trail cameras up, and that's it. Those deer, my cameras, the activity on my cameras change, and I can literally say, oh, I can literally tell when people are starting to come into the public ground down there, because the deer change their whole patterns, and they all of a sudden, I got this nice buck that's been showing up at daylight. All of a sudden now he's showing up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're not seeing him make any more daytime. It's like, yep, got too many people are starting to come in down there, and these deer, they start figuring that out real quick. It don't take much, and a lot of times it don't even take the hunting, just takes the human intrusion into their
Right.
in my bedroom. I ain't had nobody bother me all spring or summer, even early, late summer. Now all of a sudden, oh, here comes all those humans again. And any of those deer that have been around the block once or twice, they figure out real quick, like, okay, time for me to move a little bit deeper into the river bottoms and kind of get away from all these people that are starting to come in here. So, oh yeah. And I see it, literally see it on my cameras. You see the difference.
Yeah. Well, that's nice on my cameras. You can see what's going on, and you know, and a lot of hunters will go in just as far as they have to.
Yep.
I got one guy I know. No, he'll walk and walk and walk. He might walk a mile or two
That's me.
because nobody wants to really hunt that far,
Well, and
because
that's
the
it.
drag out is terrible.
Oh, yeah, right. And I was just going to say that, because then I get guys that are like, dude, what are you going to do when you shoot a deer back in there? It's like, oh, I'll worry about that when I shoot him. But believe me, I'm going to get him out of there. And I was a big game hunting guide out west. So, I come back to the truck, I drop off all my gear, I grab my pack frame and my cheesecloth bag and my knife and my sharpener and truck back in there on foot, and I debone everything. I do the out west stuff, even though right here now, but I've got stands literally that take me an hour to walk into from the parking spot. Luckily, the public that I hunt is that big that there are spots I can walk in an hour. I don't see any, especially during bow season. Maybe pick up a guy or two, way back in there during gun. But bow season, those guys ain't coming way back in there. They just, and a lot of them I've talked to, they're like, why? I can shoot deer up here up close. I don't need to go way back up in there. And it's like, okay, because they're happy with a deer. I'm generally
Right.
that guy that I'm hunting a specific deer or a specific 2 or 3 deer. And so I want to get away from all those hunters that have put the pressure on those deer up in the front. I'm going deep and I'm getting way in the back in them river bottoms. So I don't drag deer out. I'm getting too dang old to be doing that anymore. Especially like I said, when I walk an hour back in there, there's no way I'm dragging a deer because that hour walk in by on my own feet, coming out of there with a deer dragging it would take me probably all day. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's it. So I debone. I literally, yep, skin them out right there in the woods and bag up all the meat and get it in on that pack frame, and I'll pack the whole deer out in one run. Generally, I can do it. Getting older, the last couple of years, it's getting a little bit tougher to do that because quite a bit of weight on my back, especially because what I do shoot generally, I'm bringing out the head with the cape, because I'm going to do a head mount on it, and then
Right.
all the meat. So yeah, it used to be fairly easy. The last couple of years, it's like, boy, this is good. I'm gonna have to probably start breaking this into 2 trips because this trying to do it in one trip coming out here is getting harder and harder the older I get. So, but it's all worth it. I enjoy it.
Well, you're after the big deer, and the big
Yep.
deer are going to be where there's
Nobody
less
else
people.
is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's literally how I hunt. So, like I said, it's just funny because guys are like, man, what are you gonna do when you kill one back in there? I'm gonna do a dance and jump up and down and say, yeah, got me a good one. And then I'm going to bust my tail. And if it takes me all day to get him out of there, well, then it's going to take me all day to get him out of there. That stuff don't bother me, I guess, being a big game hunting guide, and I was doing that with elk and mule deer and bear and moose and you name it, pretty much hauling it all out on my back. And you get used to that and get her down to a science, so you kind of know how to pack it and how to load it. And like I said, back, in the big game hunting days in elk, of course, you weren't hauling one of those out in one trip. That was sometimes
No.
was a if you're doing it by yourself, some of those could be up to maybe 4 trips going in and out of there to get everything. And that's loading your hunter up with as much as he can carry too, just trying to make it the least amount of trips that we can do it in. But yeah, there's some, that you're hunting with an older gentleman, he's not carrying anything. So it's like, all right, buddy, I'm going to get one load loaded up here. We're going to haul it out. And I'm going to leave you. I'm going to take you back to camp. And you kick back and have a drink and celebrate around the campfire and all that. And I'm coming back to get the rest of your elk out of here. So I'll see you in a few hours. So, but yeah, that was always fun though. That stuff never bothered me. And I enjoyed all that kind of stuff. So I enjoy doing that same thing with my deer here in the state of Iowa. It ain't like the big game hunting out west, but when you're coming out an hour out of the river bottoms, yeah, there's just no way that you're dragging a deer out of there. That's
No.
happening.
Well, and when I got my moose, I didn't debone it or anything, but the head and hide weighs like 130 pounds.
Oh
And that
boy.
was a cow. That wasn't even a bull.
Right. Oh
And it
yeah.
was like 500 pounds of meat, with the
Yep.
bones.
Oh yeah.
Debone it, you're going to lose a little bit, but that's still, yeah, that's twice my weight at least, deboned.
Oh yeah.
And then, another my weight plus, for, if it got a bull, but I got a cow. So that was still, you just haul that out would be enough,
Oh yeah.
on your back at one time.
Yep. And that was a nice thing too, honestly, with the guiding out there is we had horses too. So there was a lot of times if we got like an elk and it was way down in the crap and like, oh my God, this is gonna kill me. We come back to camp and drop everything off and grab, all right, throw the horse in the stock trailer, and we're taking him back in there as far as we can get with the truck and trailer. And then I'm taking him down in, and he's going to carry all that out for me.
Right.
There's no way I'm making multiple trips. We can get the horse in there and get it all out in one load. So that was always nice that we had, but not always, because there was we did guided in Idaho, Montana, Washington, and Utah. In some of those areas, we didn't have horses. The boss didn't have horses there, So it's like, nope. Guess what? You get to pack it out. So
You're the
yeah.
pack mule.
Yep, you are the pack mule, exactly. So yep, exactly. So sometimes it was a little tougher than what you wanted, but I loved it. I did love guiding, but it didn't pay the bills. When season was in, the money was good, but when season was out, it was, now I'm going to work here doing odd jobs, bartending, pouring concrete, building fence, just doing whatever you could do to get yourself through until the next hunting season, or until spring. And I get to go up to do spring bear hunts and turkey hunts and guide on those. But then you hit June, July, August, nothing really much going on. Hit the end of August, and then we're up to Montana doing the antelope hunt there, like that last week of August, and then back to Idaho doing archery elk and mule deer, because that usually opens right there at the end of August, and then you're good to go. You can run right up until about December 1st, and then things will slow down. And then we used to do we do some of the winter cow elk hunts, but there wasn't a lot of guys that came out. So there was literally, I might get to do 3, maybe 4 winter cow elk hunts between December 1st and the end of January, so you had 2 months. It's like, ooh, I got to do 4 whole cow elk hunts over the wintertime. And, yeah, it just made it tough. If you could make a living at that, I'd probably still be guiding, to be honest with you, because I did love it that much. And, but yeah, it's feast and famine. That's literally what it is.
Yeah, it's not like, when, being not the guide, but there's always something you can pretty much go hunt year round. It may not be archery, you've got your archery seasons and, but once you fill your tags, then, here in Nebraska, we get that season choice tag, which is antlerless tags.
Okay.
So until they run out of those, when I first did them, there was no limit on them because there was just so many deer.
Right.
And,
Trying to get them
I was a
numbers
deer
down.
check. Yeah, I was a deer check station at the time, and they're guys that shoot 24 deer a year legally. Shoot 24 deer.
Right. Oh yeah.
That you just go buy more tags. Now they only issue so many of those season choice tags.
Yep.
But nice thing about that is they're either 1 or 2 does, and they're like your resident tags. They're pretty inexpensive.
Yeah,
And
it costs. I think it's like $63 gets me my hunting license, my habitat stamp, and my deer tag. And then we can do archery. Get a buck tag and any sex tag. Actually, you can shoot a buck or a doe on that archery tag. And then we've got 4 gun seasons. We've got early muzzleloader, first shotgun, second shotgun, and then late muzzleloader. But as a resident, you only get to hunt one of those 4. You can't hunt all 4 of them. You have to pick which one you want. So the wife and I, we do early muzzleloader, which opens like October 12th and runs for 9 days. When that's over, my gun season is over. We don't get to gun hunt the rest of the year. Now, if I haven't filled my bow tag, which usually I haven't by then we've got archery. So we can hunt the whole rest of the season, archery to fill that buck tag, if that's what you can shoot a doe, like I said, on it if you want to. And then the county that I hunt only gives out 450 doe tags. And so if you're not there, those things sell out, man. I'll tell you what, those things sell out the first day. They're gone. So if you're not standing right there at Walmart or at the local pro shop at their counter getting that doe tag, yeah, if you wait till the next day, nope, because they go on sale August 15th. And that's it. And by midnight on August 15th, they're gone, all 450. But now you go down into southern Iowa, some of the counties down there in southern Iowa, some of those counties down there are giving out 5,000 doe tags. So those, a lot of times, some of those counties down there even have leftover tags at the end of the season that they didn't even sell all of them that they wanted to sell. So yeah, it just depends on what part of the state you want to hunt and what you're looking for a doe. So I can buy a doe tag down in those other counties too, but then of course I have to travel down there 2-3 hours down to those counties to be able to shoot a doe. To me, I guess it's not worth it. I've got my urban hunt. I'm killing 5 doe. I'm certainly not driving 3 hours to kill another one.
Yeah.
So, nah, I'll pass. You guys can have them. Go have at it.
Yeah. Yeah. You could have them. Yeah, I know there's I've been helping out the last few years up at the Nebraska's Game and Parks. They have their outdoor expo at Ponca State Park.
Okay.
And that's always a pretty good time. I go out there and help out with the archery. You know,
Nice.
they got archery, they got rifles, they got shotguns, they you know, they got all kinds of stuff. But there's two different courses up there in archery. One is shooting at the 3D animals, and the other one is what they call aerial archery. And for those that don't know what that is, they have a little foam disc that they launch, and then
Gotcha.
you shoot arrows out of recurves that have a bludgeon on the end of them.
Like, and
You
they're
know,
like the foo arrows.
yeah, no, they're just regular arrows, but
Oh,
they
they're
have
shooting
like
regular.
it's like a tennis ball or something like on the
Yep.
front of it, so it
Yep.
won't penetrate. And you shoot at those discs, you know, as they're flying through the air. And there's a big old mat, you know, uh, not a mat, but I mean a mat to hang up behind it.
Backstop
Yeah,
that
yeah,
catches
backstop
it.
netting.
Yep. Yep.
And we still have to climb up on the hill to get some of them because some go over the top of it. But
Right. Right.
you know, and
That
sometimes
sounds
we'll
like
get
a
up
lot of
there.
fun, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just, you know, come on up there and shoot the archery and I'll be up there. I generally volunteer for all the sessions both days. And,
Right.
you know, it's like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna walk around? Nah, just stay here.
Right. Right. Exactly. No, it sounds like a good time, actually.
Yeah, it is. So anybody's around, it's right where South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa meet.
Okay. Right
So
up in the northwest corner then of Iowa.
yep. You're gonna take 29 up and then get off when you're I forget what the highway is, and it's not too far, but it's Ponca State Park, which is in Ponca Hills.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
anybody who wants to go, stop by and
Yep.
say hi.
Okay. Might
Uh,
have to do that sometime. When do they do that? When does that happen?
that's the weekend of the 21st, coming
Of
up here in a couple
oh,
weeks.
coming up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Whatever that weekend they go the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now I won't be up there Friday because you know I'm working there and I'll be leaving work and then go up and stay in a hotel up there and but I'll be there Saturday and Sunday and then the last several years Matt Stutzman has been putting on a little demonstration up there. He goes by the armless archer.
The armless archer.
Yeah, because he has no arms.
So he shoots with his
He-
feet.
yeah, he's got little nubs. He's born that way.
Okay.
And he got Olympic gold this last time in the Paralympics
Yep. The
last year.
wife's over here saying she think he was down to the Iowa Deer Classic one year that he was down there.
Probably. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. He lives over there in Iowa.
Okay. Yep. So yep. She said that. Yep. She's like, you don't remember he was at the Iowa? I'm like, oh yeah, maybe. You think I'd remember a guy with no arms walking around, but God, you're so busy sometimes over there. It's just like, okay,
Yeah.
you don't catch everything that's going on.
Yeah. Yes. If you get a chance, stop up there and find the archery area and I'll be there.
Right on.
We'll talk in person.
And they do that every year.
Yeah. Every year.
Yep. Same time, pretty much every year. Same.
Yeah. Pretty much that same weekend.
Third weekend of August.
Yeah. I think so. Um, I can pull it up, make sure. Bring my calendar up because I have it. If it don't get in my calendar, it ain't happening.
Mhm. I hear you there.
So it's like when you schedule a podcast, you're booking it into my Google Calendar.
Oh boy, that's the wife reminded me because went down picked that mineral up today, and I was out in the shop and kind of getting things around and cleaning up and doing stuff there. And the wife, she had to run to she actually run to the post office, and she calls me on the phone. She's like, "Hey, remember you've got that podcast with Roy tonight?" And I'm like, "Oh crap." She's like, "That's why I'm calling you because I figured you probably forgot." But then I had it in my phone too. So my phone actually did send me a reminder there at 6 o'clock. The reminder come through podcast with Roy. I'm like, oh, okay, well, at least good thing I put it in my phone because it actually did send me the reminder. But the wife remembered there was about quarter after 5, I think. She she bumped me as she was going to the post office. Hey, don't forget. Oh crap.
Yeah.
Good thing you told me
Yeah.
that.
It starts on the 19th of September and the Saturday the 20th and Sunday the 21st.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So you have to come on up and
Might have to do that. I don't know if we'll make it this year, but definitely something we might look at, in the future for sure.
yeah, anybody that listens to this podcast stops up there. Make sure you stop into Aerial Archery and say hi. I seen your podcast or listen
There
to
you
your
go.
podcast.
Yep, exactly. And we've got a bunch of staff up that way too. So maybe I'll say something to those guys and like, hey, if you guys happen to get up there, stop in and see Roy. He's up
Yeah.
there. He'd be working in the archery deal over there with all that. So yeah, tell him, man, hey, seen your podcast there with Shawn. Definitely.
Yeah. And that'd be a good time. It's always nice talking to archers and we've had people that never shot a bow get up there, we basic little bit of instruction and hit that disc.
Oh, right, right. Like, wow.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, the new
You're a
archers are here.
natural.
The old archers keep missing it. The new guys that never really shot is like they're hating it.
Yeah, they're like perfect. That's how it always is. Just like the
Yeah,
14-year-old kid that goes out gun hunting for his first time and he shoots a 180-inch giant. You're like, I've been hunting for all these years and never killed it, never even seen one that big. You go out your first time and kill a giant. So, hey, it's all good. It is what it is.
yeah. Well, as long as they don't think they're going to do that every time.
Right, exactly.
That's
That's the problem. Yep, you set that bar too high, and then you chase that the rest of your life.
yeah. I
Yep.
think I hunted for 5 years before I got my first shot. I had one at but 4 years, but I there's sniff grass. I couldn't really tell. I had a shot at the vitals, but didn't really realize it because, well, nobody taught me anything.
Yep.
It's all just going to field. I started off. If I seen footprints in the dirt, it was a good day.
Right.
At
Right.
least I knew there's deer in the area.
Yep. Exactly.
Never
I'm
seen
in the
it.
right spot, anyways.
Yeah, we're in the right spot.
I was the same way though. I was pretty much self-taught. My parents bought me a bow for Christmas, and I turned 12 the following July. So I shot it through the winter and the spring and the summer, and got out. And it took me. I was 17 years old before I got my first deer with a bow. So 5 years I hunted with a bow for 5 years. I killed a couple. I killed a doe my first year gun hunting when I was 14, because now they got all the youth hunting where you can take your kid out and he can shoot a deer once you feel he's big enough to shoot a gun, can do it.
Yeah,
But back when I was growing up in Michigan, you had to be 12 years old to small game and archery hunt, and you had to be 14 to be able to gun hunt for deer. So that was it. 12, 13, I was bow hunting, never killed anything. And then I come into 14, and I did kill a doe that very first year when I was 14 with a single shot 12 gauge and with buckshot. And they were doing a deer drive, and I didn't know it. We were on, me and a friend, or me and my dad's friend took me out. We were on public ground, and these guys were doing a deer drive on the state ground there. And this doe come running past me, and I shot her, and that was it. 14 years old, and that kind of hooked me pretty good. But then that was it. I think I killed another buck when I was 16 with a shotgun, and then I killed a buck with my bow when I was 17. Then I might have went a couple of years where I didn't get anything with a bow, nothing with a gun, and I was reading and everything, and Field and Stream and North American Whitetail and Peterson bow hunting. And mom used to buy me magazines like every month. She'd buy me every one that was out, the Peterson bow hunting, North American Whitetail, Field and Stream. And I'd literally read that thing from front to back, especially all the deer hunting articles and that. And then that was kind of become a normal thing for birthdays and Christmases. She would buy me like books that were written by, God, I don't even remember some of them. Some of these are like your old timers, from way back, that had written books about how to kill deer. And so Christmas morning, I'd usually have a couple of new books in my stocking, and they were all about deer hunting. And man, I would read those things from front to back, and sometimes I'd read them a couple times. And God, by the time I was probably 20 years old, you could probably stack two stacks side by side, and they'd probably reach the ceiling in an 8-foot ceiling. I read that much stuff about how to kill these deer. And I pretty much delved right into it, both feet. And I've been pretty much a fanatic. I'm 59 now. I'm slowing down a little bit. I still got that pretty good drive for it. But again, I always said, I'll never lose this fire. And that's it. I'll always be like this. And it's like, yeah, okay, buddy. Wait till you're 55 and you get diagnosed, because I got rheumatoid arthritis too, actually pretty severe, and osteo. So I'm like, yeah, wait till you turn 55 and you can't hardly move some days, and you'll look at it a little bit different. So there's days I want to get out and go, but the body's saying, no, you're not doing that today. I think you probably better stay in. You just nope. So that's the unfortunate part. It's not that I don't still have the drive. It's my body's starting to say, hey, you got to slow down. It all sounds fun and games until you take me out in the woods and beat the crap out of me and bring me back home and you can't hardly walk. It's like, okay, I'll skip today.
Well, add another 21 years of that, and you'll catch up to me.
Oh, wow. You look good. You look good. You look good. So, yep, that's it. No, it's catching me. As I get older, all I do, that's it. You don't get to do her like you used to when you was a kid. And
Nope.
God, I never thought I would lose it, but here I am. It's like, okay. And I'm good with that. I have had a great career. I've killed a ton of Pope and Young bucks. I've got 3 booners on my wall. I killed a freaking giant black bear up in Newfoundland, 550 pounder. I've killed a 400-pound chocolate out in Idaho. And God, I've been to British Columbia. I've been to Newfoundland. I've had a good career with my hunting. So I guess not that I'm ready to go, but if I was to die tomorrow, I've had a pretty good career in my hunting career. So, and I've enjoyed every bit of it, and hopefully I've got several more years left in me, and we can continue to keep doing this. But we'll see. The good Lord, it's all His decision. I ain't got much to say about it. We'll see what He's got to say. So,
yeah,
hopefully He lets me stick around for a little longer.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, is so I can get back out in the field again. And I had a year and a half ago, I had a triple bypass, and then
Oh yeah,
this year in April, I got hit from behind really hard, and still I'm just about almost recovered from that, and still having problems because I was hit so hard from behind that got pretty good whiplash, and
oh yeah.
it took all the strength I'd built up after my surgery, and it took it all away and then some.
Yep.
And
Start over again.
yeah,
Your body
starting
don't
all
heal
over.
as quick as it used to when you was a kid. You'd take a shot like that, and a couple weeks later you're up and I'm good. Then you get up
Yeah.
there at the age, and you're like a month later, you're going, oh my God, is this ever going to heal?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try 5 months later.
Right.
And still not
Exactly.
healed.
Yep. That's it. That's oh boy. I guess it is getting old kind of sucks, but it is better than the alternative, as my dad always says.
That's what my grandma said all the time.
Yeah, my dad says all the time, yeah, getting old sucks, but it is better than the alternative. I'm like, true. That is very true.
That is true.
Yep.
Well, it's been really great talking with you.
Yes, Roy, I
Um,
enjoyed it. I enjoyed
we
it.
kind of went a little bit long, but hey, I don't care.
Yeah, and I'm a talker. I like to talk. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and so do I. So this has been a lot of fun, and it's been really great. And any final thoughts or ideas or suggestions or comments?
Boy, I don't know. Check out jinxemsense.com. Check out our products and come on over and give some of our stuff a try. And I guess I enjoyed it too, Roy. It was a good time, and like I said, I could sit here and talk to you probably another 3 or 4 hours, to be honest with you. And because when we get into talking hunting, that's what I'm all about. That the wife, it drives her nuts sometimes. She's like, "My
Yeah,
God, you can talk forever." Well, yeah, when we're talking hunting, I can talk forever than that. So
yeah.
I guess final
Well,
thought is, that's it. Get out there, everybody, and enjoy the great outdoors, because ain't none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. And believe me, I was 21, and it was only like 3 weeks ago. Seriously, in your mind, it was only just wasn't very long ago. I was graduating
yeah,
high school, and here I'm just turned 59 a month ago, and yeah, life goes by quick. So enjoy every bit of it and get outdoors and enjoy all that, because there's none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. And that's it. And just soak it all in and enjoy it and make the best of it, and get your kids out, your grandkids, and introduce them to all that if you haven't already. And that's it. Just keep this hunting heritage alive, because I'm kind of afraid it's kind of slowly kind of going away as we all get older. And I know that the bulk of the hunters, they're all the baby boomers, they're all here. They're all 50 and older, is the biggest bulk of, we're all starting to age out. So get a friend, get them kids, man, for sure. Get those kids, get them out there and teach them about the outdoors, and show them how fun it can be, and teach them all the skills that they need, so that if this world ever does go down the tubes, they've got the skills to be able to survive and know how to fend for themselves and take care of themselves. And so guess that's about all I really could say right there. Just that's it. Enjoy it and introduce new people to it, get them out there.
Yeah, that's good advice. Just get out there and do it, and yeah, just one of those things that take a kid out hunting and fishing.
Yep. And they might
You
not
know,
have that opportunity. It might be, you might be that one that introduces them to something that they fall in love with it just as much as I or you or any of these other people have fell in love with it, but without us introducing them to it, they'll just never know. So
yeah,
don't be afraid. I tell you, I did take a kid here a few years ago. He's type 1 diabetic. He was only 11 years old, and that was it. And that kid still hunts to this day just because I got him out, and he ended up shooting a doe, and got it all on film, and all we kind of recorded all those memories for him, and that was it. The kid is hooked, and he loves the outdoors. And his mom and dad don't hunt, never did hunt, and never had any plans on hunting, but he wanted to. And so they got with me, hey Shawn, would you want to take him out hunting? I'm like, you bet your bottom dollar I will. Let's go. So we did it. But that's what it's all about, passing it down to the youth, and get them involved. We gotta keep our numbers up, keep this sport alive. And if we just let it go and don't do that, then and I'm literally afraid that 50 years from now, where's it going to be? And there's a lot of anti-hunters out there that would just soon to see all of us disappear, and not kill any more of their beautiful animals. And what they don't realize is that us hunters are the reason that there's all those animals out there. Our conservation and the money that we spend through tags and licenses, and that's, I mean, you know it as well as I do. Years ago, like Iowa, like you talk to some of these old timers around here, like, dude, back in the 50s, 40s, there wasn't no deer in Iowa. We didn't have deer in Iowa. There just really wasn't. And look where they went, and now we're back down. They've kind of taken our numbers down here a little bit again anymore. But I mean, you literally come from those years to a bumper crop of deer, and it's like, that was because of us. That was because of us hunters who care about these animals, and who are spending the money and buying those licenses, and keeping the habitat up, and doing our part to continue our passion, and all that. And I would love to see that still here long after I'm gone, definitely.
yeah. Well,
So,
at the turn of the century, they never thought white-tailed deer would be a viable game animal. There wasn't enough of them in the
yep,
whole country.
yep. And now look at them. And
Yeah,
like I said, they've kind of taken the numbers down all across the country. But honestly, as well as I do, if they eased up on the doe for a couple seasons, we'd be right back up there with a whole bunch of deer again.
yeah,
So it is what it is, I guess. And but yeah, just get a kid out there, get a friend out, even if it's just a friend, and because that friend might introduce one of his friends, and so forth and so on. And I do know that, at least as they report, hunter numbers are on the decline, and we need to make sure that we can keep those numbers growing and keep this sport alive, or it may not be here in 20, 30, 40 years, hopefully, but you just never know. So that's my advice.
yeah. Well, good advice. And I'll leave a link to Jinxem Sense in the description so that makes it easier for them to find. And we'll just we'll just catch us another time. Maybe we'll have you back on and we'll just talk about hunting stories next time.
There you go. Anytime, Roy. Yep. Next time we won't talk business at all. We'll just talk about tell some lies about the big ones that got away and all that, you know.
Or like I caught a fish that was, your arms way out here and
Right,
and fingers
right.
like this, fish
Yep,
this
yep.
big.
He was huge.
Well, that's why
All
you
right.
hold them arm's length to the camera because your
Yep,
hand looks so
yep. You
big.
got to put him right out there. So he's only like 3 inches long. Look at him. He's a monster. Nope. I enjoyed it, Roy. Thank you very much for the contacting me. And I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it too. So, my name is Roy Canterbury. I've been your host today on Arch Talk 101 podcast. Shawn Jenkins as our special guest today. And make sure you catch it in the replay if you didn't catch it live on my profile. I go live on my profile. If you go out to Arch Talk 101 Facebook group, you'll catch them there as well as you'll get a lot of advice if you have any questions on shooting form or technical questions. Upload a video, record a video off your phone and set up and we'll give you our pointers. And you can also listen to the podcast wherever audio, like your Spotify and your podcasts are put out, as well as audible.com. And you can also watch the video on my YouTube channel, Learn to Fix It Yourself. There I have all kinds of stuff, not just archery stuff, but all kinds of stuff. I make videos all the time on different things. So just catch us there. And thanks for watching and listening. And we'll catch you on the next one.
All right.